an optimized video editor for short form content. Now notice what I said here. I made this a little complex, and the reason why is because everybody knows how to edit videos nowadays. So if you pitch to a creator, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, that, hey, let me edit your videos for you, nobody really cares because every creator's inbox is full with people saying, let me edit one video for you for free. Let me show you how good I am. So you have to start differentiating yourself. Now, the next thing that people started doing was saying, hey, I can create you a short form video. I'll create you a video for TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts, and let me show you how good I am, which then everybody started doing. And this is where now I want you to take it one step further, which is analyzing the KPIs, the key performance indicator, and having a real metric to show the success. Because before, what people were doing was creating videos that looked attractive. Maybe they were focused on how can you get more likes or views, but this is where now, if you can be a little bit more strategic, you can now find the new buyers and stand out from all the crowd of video editors, because there's a lot of video editors out there. And what I mean by this is, if you can work with the creator and say, let me create your short form videos with the goal of X, getting you more leads, getting you more sales, getting you more email signups, getting more clicks to your website. If you understand what their goal is and you can specialize in getting people to do that through the short form videos, well, now you've just opened up a whole new world of opportunity that not that many people are doing. And what I mean by that is, if a content creator is creating content, they generally have a goal with creating that content. And most video editors are in the business of editing videos. And so now, if you can better understand the goal, which is, let's just say, getting clicks, getting subscribers, getting sales, or getting likes, and you know how to get more of that thing, well, now you can pitch this as, let me help you with your goal, which is A, B, C, or D. You tell me what your goal is, and I'll show you what we're going to do differently to get you to that goal. But not just that, you're going to help track it. That's the key. You have to be able to track how many leads they're getting, how many subscribers they're getting, and then work to optimize that and let them know, hey, look, we're going to optimize how many email subscribers we're going to get you. Here's what we're going to do to optimize the email subscribers. And here's how we're going to track it. Now we can show week over week. Hey, week 1, we got you 44 email subscribers. Week 2, hey, we got you 78 email subscribers. Here's what we're going to do to get 100. Hey, we got 100 email subscribers. Now here's what we're going to do to get you to 1,000 email subscribers. This way now you're working with them on their goals, and you're creating content, not just to create content, because that's what every video editor is doing. They're editing videos just to edit videos. But if you want to stand out and start getting the real business, you want to start editing videos with the goal of helping them reach their end goal, which is some sort of KPI, key performance indicator. Maybe it's email subscribers, maybe it's sales, maybe it's views, maybe it's likes. You figure out what that goal is, and then you help solve that goal. Number 6 is video recording for realtors. Now, I started off in the real estate space. I do have a real estate salesperson's license, although I don't work as a realtor, but I know a lot of realtors. I also know a lot of top realtors, and what I can tell you is you're seeing more and more realtors, especially in the luxury home space, that are starting to invest money in video production. Now, in the beginning, it was, I'm going to take a drone picture of your home, which was cool. And now you're starting to see people get a little bit more involved. Some realtors, not all of them, but some of them, they're starting to get a little bit more involved where they're doing home tours, video home tours, or they're creating these video showings at the property. And if you can start recording these things or create a virtual tour of a property, which of course takes a little bit of work and time and analysis to understand how to do this, well, now you have opened up the floodgates, because many realtors are trying to do this, but they have absolutely no idea how. And if they're selling homes worth over $500,000, it is going to be worth their time to pay you $500, $1,000 to create this eye-catching virtual tour, or to videograph them walking you through the property, or even both. But this is where now understanding who is your target market, if you can target the realtors, the people that are selling homes for over $500,000, and if you can create a really eye-catching piece that's going to help them sell that home. Remember, you got to understand the goal. They want to sell the home because that's how they get the commission. And you want to help them get the commission because that's going to get you that repeat business. Number 7 is become a digital personal trainer. Now, I like to work out. I enjoy it, something I like to do. And I got to know a couple of the trainers in my gym, and one of the guys that I knew just stopped coming for a little while. So I texted him to see how he was doing. He told me he was starting this new personal training business. So I thought nothing of it, and I said, congratulations. And then he texted me about a year later, says, hey, do you want to get coffee? I'd love to just talk to you about what I'm doing. I said, sure, didn't really think about it. And he told me that he started this digital personal training business, and he's making more money now than he was ever doing before. He was doing many multiples of what he was making before, because now instead of training people one-on-one in the gym like what he was doing, he built this digital personal training business but he only trains people that are making over $100,000 a year. I said, well, what difference does it make if someone's making 200 grand versus 40 grand? We said, it really doesn't make much difference in terms of the training, except how much money I can charge. And not just that, for the people that are these high income executives, the doctors, attorneys, and executives, they don't always have the time to drive to the gym. And they want a place to learn how to work out in the comfort of their home. Because if they can do a home workout, it saves them some time, the 20 minutes to the gym and back, and then they can do this on their own schedule. So I started doing these digital training workouts for doctors and attorneys and accountants and other executives. I charge them more money and they do the work on their own time, but I don't have to go and see them. They don't have to come to me. I don't have a home gym anymore. They just do it all virtually from their home. So I built these specialized home workouts for the executives. That way they can work out on their own schedule, which goes to show that there's a market for pretty much anything. And if you know how to work out, if you can build a home workout for people who have money to spend, who don't have a lot of time, well, you can solve that problem for them in exchange for a fee. Business idea number 8 is wedding coordination. Now, I got to premise this with you have to be organized. You have to be detail oriented, and you have to care about the end product here. Because if you are kind of just doing this to make money, you are going to get chewed out and sued very quickly. Now, I know this because I worked in the wedding industry for many, many, many years. Now, I worked in the Indian wedding industry. I played a drum. It's a Punjabi drum called the Tol. Punjab is the region in India where my family is from. And I also worked with a lot of the DJs. So I got to know a lot of the wedding coordinators. And, starting a DJ business is specialized. Starting a drumming business is specialized. Starting a videography business is specialized. But if you want to be a wedding coordinator, you don't need to have this musical skill. What you need to be now is detail oriented. You have to be able to push people to the right place at the right time. You have to be able to talk to people and make sure things get done. And you got to be a little bossy. Okay, you got to make sure things get done the way they got to get done. And you got to be very, very, very detail oriented, because you're going to be working with a lot of bridezillas. And if you can't handle that, please don't even consider this business idea. But you have the potential to make a lot of money, because weddings are expensive and people get married. I mean, people are always going to get married, whether in a recession or in a booming economy. So if this is something that you love coordinating, you love design, you have the eye for aesthetics, and you're very detail-oriented, you're very organized, and you don't have a problem bossing people around, this is something that you may want to consider. But again, specialize. Now, weddings are a little bit different, that you don't want to specialize in doctor weddings. Here, it's a little bit more by ethnicity, like Indian people weddings, Mexican people weddings. Figure out what can you do. And this is really just going to depend on who you are and where you're from, right? If you're American and you've never been to an Indian wedding before, you probably shouldn't be doing Indian weddings. So figure out what you know how to do here and understand there's a lot of opportunity. Number 9 is be a growth marketer. And what that means is you have a few options. I'm going to give you 5 different options here. I don't want you to do all these, but do one of these. Number 1 is you can understand YouTube advertising. Number 2 is you can understand Google advertising. Number 3 is understand Facebook ads. Number 4 is understand Instagram ads. Or number 5 is understand search engine optimization, or SEO. Now, the whole thing here is I want you to spend a few months learning and mastering one of these 5 things. And yes, you want to pick one, because if you try to do everything, you're going to get nowhere. If you can master one of these skills, you can then sell this skill as a service to other businesses, because every single business out there wants more customers. Now, how do you get more customers? Well, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that, but 5 of the big ways on the internet are through YouTube ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, and search engine optimization, meaning how do you rank on Google. And if you can show a business how they can drive more leads, how they can drive more sales, how they can make more money, because you can lower their customer cost of acquisition, well, now you have the ability to make a lot of money. Because if you can make a business $100, you bet they'll be willing to pay you $20 or $40, maybe even $50 or more, depending on what the product is. But this is where you have to be good at what you do and understand what the business's goals are. And yeah, you got to be a little bit of a nerd here and really understand the data and the analytics and see how you can stay on top of what's happening in this niche. Because guess what? Google ads are changing all the time. YouTube ads are changing all the time. Facebook and Instagram ads are changing all the time. Search engine optimization is changing all the time, especially now with AI. And if you can be the person that knows everything about what's happening here, you can build a very large, very profitable, and very successful business if you can show businesses how they can drive more revenue through your services. And really what that means here, I mean, it applies for everything, but especially here, is you got to work to be the best. Because if you're just going to provide average results, you are going to be fired very fast, because average results mean no profits. And if you're not driving profits, a business is going to fire you, because that's why they're paying you for the growth. But if you can drive more profits, you will have a customer for life. And number 10 is new age PR. Now, most people, when they think of PR, they think about how can you get a business on the news? How can you get them in the newspaper? How can you get them on the radio? But this is where there's a lot of opportunity through new age PR, which could be through podcasting. How can you get some person onto different podcasts? Now, of course, you got to be a little bit of a nerd here, but there's a lot of potential. As somebody who's been on the news, as somebody who's been on many podcasts, what I can tell you is podcasting is a great way, a new way to get a lot of PR, to get a lot of exposure, because you get more time, right? When I'm on the news, if I go on the radio, I'm only shown for a very short period of time, seconds, if sometimes a minute or two.
What is this minority mindset?
We need to get money smart and start thinking about our financial health, and there are a few things you can do. I call these the 3 keys of money.
Okay.
And key number 1 is spend less. Key number 2, earn more. Key number 3, invest like crazy.
So when I'm on the news, I get a very short period of time, the short segment, which will be viewed by a lot of random people, right? If I'm talking about how to pay off your debt on the news, well, there might be thousands or tens of thousands of people watching it, and most of them might not have any debt, or some of them might not have any debt. Versus if I go on a podcast on how to pay off your debt to an audience of people that are working to pay down their debt, well, now there might be 10,000 people that listen to it, all of whom have debt.
And I think a lot of people have that mindset where they're like, I only have $500. I only have $1,000. Like, what can I do with that? I might as well spend it on whatever it is, because, or I'm going to save it because I need it for a rainy day. What does someone do when they have that mindset, when they're like, I don't have enough? How do you approach that?
So when I was in high school, I really wanted a Ford Mustang, but my dad was like, no, we can't buy a Ford Mustang. I wasn't going to get that car. But this is, again, when stock prices had crashed. And the next best thing, if I couldn't buy a Ford Mustang, and I started reading the business books then, was how about I buy some of the Ford stock? Again, I didn't have a lot of money. My first investment in the Ford stock was $2.
And so this is where, if you can understand how the podcasting space works, start to network with podcasters and build a community of people that are looking for guests, because everybody who has a podcast wants a good guest. Well, now you can build a service where you charge clients a fee to get them on the podcast. Maybe you charge them $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month. I know some PR people here that will charge $10,000 a month to get people on the podcast. How do I know? Because I paid for them before. Now, the people that I paid the $10,000 a month didn't give me the results that I wanted. We started to get more results when I did it myself. But if you can build a good service doing this, well, you can make a lot of money if you can help people get that exposure. That way they can get more views, get more eyeballs, which will ultimately drive more leads and sales. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.